Today marks the 140th edition of the International Labour Day. The celebration carried out in Limbe was colorful. Plus, at least 20 people have feared death after a boat capsized on the Goose River in East Uganda. And Match Day 7 of the Southwest regionally saw Boya United FC breaks Fako United's 6 straight wins. These and more will be yours in a few minutes to come. Good evening and welcome to News Hour on Royal TV. I am Sharon Tita for presentation. Today marks the 140th edition of the International Labour Day. The celebration carried out in Limbe was colorful, described in pride and a strong display of unity amongst workers from all walks of life. Details in the following report with Gunyi Sonita.
The seaside city of Limbe came alive as workers from both the public and private sectors marched in vibrant parade to commemorate this year's International Labour Day. Dressed in customized uniforms and accompanied by music and dance, participants showcased the diversity and strength of the labor force. The celebration, held under the watchful eyes of administrative authorities, highlighted the contribution of workers to national development, while also providing a platform to raise concerns related to working conditions and social welfare. Trade unions, professional groups, and corporate organizations took turns to parade, each expressing commitment to productivity, discipline, solidarity in the workplace. Official president used the occasion to reiterate government's commitment to improving labor standards and promoting dialogue between employers and employees. Despite prevailing economic challenges, the atmosphere remained festive, with workers seizing the moment to celebrate their resilience and dedication. As the curtains fall on this year's May Day celebrations, the message from Limbe remains clear. The workforce continues to stand as pillar of growth, unity, and hope for a better tomorrow.
A spirited display of unity and appreciation defined Labour Day celebrations at Musango Bus Services, where a symbolic football clash against Elephants veterans ended in a balanced 1-1 draw, capturing the essence of teamwork both on and off the field. Details in the following report with Claudia Voma.
Labour Day commemoration. Musango Bus Services celebrates workers through unity and sports. The event brought together staff, management and invited guests in a vibrant atmosphere that went beyond routine commemoration, reflecting the company's commitment to valuing its work phase and strengthening internal bonds through sports.
Yes, today is Labour Day, another one, which we have been celebrating each year that there is Labour Day. To Musango Bus Service is the day that we want to celebrate our workers, we want to celebrate everybody that has been so instrumental as far as the company is concerned. We want to tell them thank you for being there for the company. We also want to tell them that it is their day, that they should enjoy themselves and feel free. That's why we have come to a recreational area like the Town Stadium for them to have a football match against one prominent club in Boya, Elevec, which we think the match has just ended in a 1-1 draw.
Speaking during the occasion, the finance assistant and assistant managing director underscored the importance of Labour Day as a moment of reflection and recognition. They noted that Musango Bus Services remains deeply committed to employee welfare and cohesion, adding that initiatives like the football match are designed to reinforce unity, motivation, and a shared sense of purpose within the company. On the pitch, Musango Bus Services demonstrated determination and teamwork, qualities that defined their daily operations. Their captain highlighted the significance of the encounter.
I'm very happy for the togetherness we shared today with the Vet Veteran Club. It was an intense match, and at the end it was 1-1. I'm also happy as we are celebrating the Labor Day with a non-traveling agency site, a veteran club. It shows how we share together. It shows how we share love and as one family.
The captain described the match as a more than just a game, emphasizing that it symbolized togetherness and collective strength. He pointed out that facing experienced opponents like Elephant veterans offered valuable lessons in discipline and coordination. Elephant veterans, known for their experience and composure, matched Musango bus services stride for stride, ensuring a competitive yet friendly contest.
We have been playing this tournament for the past 5 years, and it has been a good tournament for us because it's a friendly game between the Musango and Eleven. Because one of our members, who is the director of Musango, is the president of Sunday Friends Association, so he has invited us to come and be playing this ball every Labor Day. So I think the intention of the ball is just for us to keep ourselves fit and have unity in ourselves. We're not disappointed, we're satisfied because we are preparing for the tournament in Yaoundé. So
reacting after the game, the captain of Elephant Veterans praised Musango Bus Services for organizing such an initiative, noting that events like this help bridge generations, promote healthy living, and sustain the spirit of football within the community. The 1-1 scoreline ultimately reflected the balance of the encounter, but beyond the results, the day stood as a testament to the power of unity, respect, and shared celebration of labor. The festivities wrapped up with a reception, rounding off of memorable Labor Day for Musango Bus Services, one marked not just by words, but by action, engagement, and genuine appreciation for its people.
Claudia Voma there ending that report. Every May 1st is celebrated as International Labor Day, but many have not bothered to know how it all started. In this paper, we are told it started with workers' protests amidst gunshots and bloodshed in the US and Europe. Follow the brief history of the popular Labor Day celebration with staffman Wambo Williams.
Chers frères, chères sœurs, chers amis, chers Camerounais, c'est le 1er mai, la fête du travail. Alors bonne fête.
Call it Labor Day, call it May Day, call it International Workers' Day. It is about 140 years since it all started. The roots go back to the 19th century. In the 1800s, factory workers across America and Europe lived in nightmare. 12 to 16 hours of work a day, 6, even 7 days a week. No safety gear, no compensation if you lost an arm. And children, some as young as 8, were in coal mines and textile mills instead of classrooms. Today, we go from Chicago 1886 to Cameroon 2026 to ask, are we celebrating progress or repeating history? The International Workers' Day was not born in parade, it was born in blood. On May 1st, 1886, over 3,000 American workers striked nationwide. Their demand was simple, the 8 hours of work. On May 4th, 1886, at the Haymarket Square in Chicago, United States of America, a peaceful rally to protest police killing of strikes turns deadly when a bomb was thrown. 7 police officers and at least 4 civilians died, and hundreds were injured. The protesters were striking against 12 to 16 hours of work a day, 6 to 7 days a week, unsafe working conditions. Child labor was on the rise as young children, boys and girls below 10, worked in coal mines and textile mills. Out of that pain came the 8-hour movement. Its slogan was called the 888, meaning 8 hours for work, 8 hours for recreation, and 8 hours for rest. It was not seen as a form of laziness. It was dignity, with the idea that a worker is a human being, not a machine. After the Haymarket protest, 8 protesters were tried. 4 executed by hanging, 1 committed suicide, and 3 were imprisoned. From then, they became the Haymarket Martyrs. One of them, before he died, August Spice said, I quote, "The time will come when our silence will be more powerful than the voices you strangle today. Thus, May 1st is the Silence Day today."
There has been a debate on the veracity of Labor Day celebration in Cameroon. Pundits have it that the celebration does not portray the reality on the ground, while others think the working conditions in Cameroon is manageable. Mwambo Williams attempts an editorial on the very reasons on the next paper.
From the plantations of Tiko to the classrooms of Jakiri, from the markets of Douala to the offices of Yaoundé, today the nation pauses to honor the hands that built Cameroon. But beyond the drums, the white and other colored t-shirts, the speeches and the ceremonial march past, what does this day really mean for the Cameroonian worker in 2026? Today we go from Chicago, United States of America in 1886 to Cameroon in 2026 to ask, are we celebrating progress or repeating history? The International Workers' Day was not born in parade, it was born in blood. The question is, why did the factory workers strike in the 18th century? Looking closely, the 1886 and the 2026 are not so different. After the beautiful march past, there is feasting of all kinds, buffets and drinks. The music is loud. The banners are brighter than ever, while there is the take-home package that cannot take one home. The government calls it minimum take-home package of 40,000 amidst fabulous house rents, transport fare, food, school fees, medical attention, just to name a few. But in the end, the package cannot or does not take you home, but leaves you stranded. We celebrate amidst socio-economic and political crises. In a southwest and northwest, still scared by Anglophone crisis. Teachers killed in Jakiri, school burned, over 6,000 displaced. How do you celebrate decent work when your workplace was bombed, when your colleagues are refugees in their homeland and foreign soil? Today, Cameroon has many trade unions, but the question is, when did your trade union ever win a case for you? Many unions are accused of being close to the government or employers. Labor strikes are rare. Collective bargaining is weak. Unions are only visible on May 1st. All over, we have edited slogans versus reality. The banners carry beautiful slogans, but on ground, contract teachers are unpaid for months. Plantations and factory workers without protective gadgets. Yes, the slogans are edited, printed, and beautiful. The reality is not. It means without real dialogue between government, employers, and workers, there is no peace. Without decent work, living wages, safety, good contracts, there is no national cohesion, and no company grows when its workers are hungry. Today in Cameroon, we march, we feast, we chant, but if the take-home package cannot pay rent, if social dialogue is just a slogan on billboards, if trade unions cannot protect the worker who speak up, then we have not honored Haymarket, we have mocked it. So this May 1st, let us move beyond edited slogans. To government, pay a living wage, not a minimum wage. To employers, sign contracts, provide CNPS, safety first. To unions, fight, not just march. To workers, know your rights. Your 8 hours were bought with blood. Because decent work is not theme for ceremonial ground. It is a promise for the mechanic in Kumba, the teacher in Jakiri, the nurse in Douala, the farmer in Dop. Until that promise is kept, May 1st is not a celebration. It is a reminder. Happy Workers' Day, Cameroon. May your labor have dignity.
Many thanks to you, Mwambo Williams, for that report. A groundbreaking conservation alliance has been launched in Boya, the chief town of the southwest region. The Environment and Rural Development Foundation, ERUDEF, together with the African Conservation Foundation, has unveiled the Cross River Gorilla Community-led Conservation Alliance, a bold initiative to save the world's most gorilla species. Details in the following report with Frida Lena Voma.
The Cross River gorilla clings to survival in the fragmented forest along the Cameroon-Nigeria border. Fewer than 300 individuals remain, with 80% found here in Cameroon. For decades, conservationists have warned that without coordinated, community-driven action, this rare primate could vanish forever. The press conference marks a turning point born out of a 3-day knowledge exchange workshop in February 2026. The alliance brings together local and community-based organizations across the gorillas range. Its secretariat will be housed at ERUDEF's headquarters in Boya, southwest region of Cameroon, with funding support from Conservation Connect.
We have been witnessing that since 1901, the Cross River gorillas that were identified to exist in the Nigeria-Cameroon cross-border region had been on the decline. A very wonderful population of wildlife that means a lot to the conservation community, that means a lot to the local people. We see a lot of local people having them as their totems and using these animals for wonderful community initiatives. We see these animals disappearing. And so the local community, so the scientific community, conservation community came together since the late 1990s up to now to build a more consensus effort to stem the rate of extinction of this species and eventually reverse the degradation, the decline into a stable and growing population. And we are thinking that by 2050, we should be having a population of cross-river gorillas moving from the current 300 to thousands. This is our goal, and we call this the media here today to work together with us to also inform you that we now have a community, Cross-River Gorillas Community-led Conservation Alliance of community-based organizations and locally based organizations that we want to join forces with the governments of Nigeria and Cameroon and the international community to build a more consensus framework to ensure that these animals effectively survived and moved to the mark of 1,000 by 2050.
The alliance is built on 5 strategic pillars: cutting-edge conservation technology, including smart monitoring and eDNA analysis, media and communication campaigns to tell the gorilla story and raise awareness, livelihood programs like agroforestry, aquaculture, and eco-village models to support communities, carbon credit mechanisms to ensure forests generate both ecological and economic value. Resource mobilization is another pillar for long-term sustainability. Faced with such a challenge, if urgent action is not taken,
and the 12 fragmented populations kept being fragmented, we are guaranteed that in the next 20 to 30 years, the animals will completely die off. Completely die off. In the absence of poaching, in the absence of forest, they simply, due to inbreeding, because the populations are fragmented, they will simply die off, and we will be losing natural heritage, we'll be losing billions of dollars, and we'll be losing so much that means to our local people who still live in these enclave areas.
A 12-month action plan has already been set in motion, laying the foundation for a 25-year project across gorilla habitats in Cameroon and Nigeria. Organizers say this alliance is not just about saving gorillas, it's about empowering communities, protecting forests, and securing a future where people and wildlife thrive together. As the world's rarest gorilla subspecies faces the brink of extinction, the Cross River Gorilla Alliance offers a beacon of hope. Conservationists believe that with united action, this fragile population can be safeguarded for generations to come.
The senior divisional officer of Fako Division, Viang Mikala, has visited the site of an illegal operated makeshift petroleum refinery that went up in flames recently in Limbe. The illegal refinery is located at Mile 2 in the seaside resort town of Limbe, not far behind the Enoyoso power generating station. In the area has been a big threat to inhabitants in the said neighborhood. Details in the following report with Natalie Juma.
The fire explosion incident that occurred recently blew open the lid of what had been going on in the city of Limbe without any public knowledge. The senior divisional officer for Fako, Viang Mekala, was accompanied by the Limbe City Mayor, Paul Efomengale, the divisional officer of Limbe 1, Moni Inanse Nanje, the mayor and sub-security officers visited the site and were all surprised by the massive destruction and type of illegal business that had been going on in that locality.
From all indication, they don't have any authorization, so it should be illegal exploitation, illegal activity, which is even very dangerous. You can see this fire incident that occurred last week with the explosion that we heard in the town. We are here in Limbe, Limbe 1, and you can see the houses, the population are around, and you can imagine what this type of explosion that can cause, the damage that can cause. So what is sure is that we don't have any authorization because it's not known by the authorities.
It is clear that since the fire incident that struck Sonara in May 2019, some persons have certainly been trying to be competitors with the lone petroleum refinery company in Cameroon. A large number of over 5,000 liters of crude oil was confiscated at the site. Also, some plastic drums of over 200 liters each was equally discovered at the same site. These certainly were the containers used to ferry in the crude oil as well as evacuate the finished products.
What we met on the spot were rudimentary artisanal tanks, some form of the pipes and drums, which the purported illegal operations are taking on place. However, we know there was no sign of the culprits. We did not meet any person. It's like they knew that people would come. The place was deserted. But we met indications that they were there because
authorities have revealed that there are many Cameroonians who are indulged in the importation of illegal petroleum products from Nigeria, which is sold along many streets in Cameroon. The senior divisional officer for Fako, Viang Mekala, has promised to investigate the issue and persecute the perpetrators.
I think that I will instruct the customer to organize a search the person who is carrying out the search activity for him to be prosecuted.
No, we need to take them to the books. We need to make them to understand that what they are doing is illegal. As I said earlier, there will be a thorough investigation that will bring them to books.
He equally added that it was a very dangerous operation, especially as it was being carried out within an area so close to where persons reside. The senior divisional officer noted that some 3 persons are reported to have been injured following the incident and are presently following up treatment at the Limbe Regional Hospital.
Thank you very much, Natalie Juma, for that report. And now onto our foreign page. At least 20 people have feared death after a boat capsized on the Goose River in eastern Uganda, with rescue teams racing against time to locate survivors as authorities investigate the cause of the deadly accident. Details in the following report with Nanga Sonia.
At least 20 people appear dead after boat capsizes on Guse River. Search and rescue operations were underway in western Uganda on Wednesday after a boat capsized on the Guse River. More than 30 people were on board when the vessel went down the previous evening. 8 survivors have been found and are receiving medical treatment. Authorities have urged victims' relatives to come forward. Marine police in Kigadi district have launched an inquiry into the cause of the accident. They say possible factors include overloading, night travel, and the boat's condition. According to media reports, the locally made canoe capsized loaded with bags of charcoal. The region has seen a number of boat accidents in recent years, particularly on Lake Victoria. Hundreds of people died when a passenger ferry sank on the Tanzanian side of the lake in 2018. Bellarmine Chatunga Mugabe, the youngest son of Zimbabwe's former president Robert Mugabe, has been given a deportation order from a South African court after admitting to being in the country illegally. He had been in custody since mid-February due to being implicated in the shooting of a gardener. Magistrate Rene Bouchard, number one, as far as court one count 5 is concerned, you are fined to 24,000 USD rands or 24 months imprisonment. That is how pointing of the toy gun that was likely to lead the person to believe it was a firearm. The judge also issued a sentence for the co-accused, saying, "You are not going to escape jail today." So the court is of the opinion that the following is a suitable and well-balanced sentence. It's going to be a merciful sin. As I said, mercy is not more than sympathy. Mugabe has also been fined $36 or to 24 months in prison in default.
Nanga Sonia there ending that report, and now onto our sport page. Match day 7 of the Southwest Regional League saw Boya United FC breaks Fatco United's 6 straight wins with a 0-0 draw at the Boya Moliko Omisport Stadium on April 30, 2026. Sonita Nguni watched the game and now reports.
Boya United, who currently sits third on the classification table, staged a 0-0 draw at the Moliko Omisport Stadium against unbeaten Fatco United, counted for match day 7 of the Southwest Regional League. The third game of the day saw two sides who refused to be overpowered by each other, as their points already grabbed was a booster to continue staging a good fight. Boya United, coached by Manuel Agbo, says he remains positive as all is not yet lost despite picking just 1 point.
It was a nice game. It was a game. It's a debut. A debut always has its face. It's a debut. We just try to push because we always try to do our best, but recently we have been having poor results, especially our last match with Rising Star that ended 1-1. I don't want to talk about it, but try to see how we can give our fans back that despite the poor result, that we are still a team that can beat the best, because frankly speaking, Fatco United is a team, this is their first draw after a series of wins. So it's a team I respect their coach. Most of my old players are there, 4 of them. So you just give my boys the mentality of, even if we are not going to qualify or things are not moving well, let us try to prove that we can play. And that's just what the confidence and boost their morale that they can do it. Despite having drawn too much matches, but the second place is wide open. It's wide open, and those in front of me are mostly those I'm going to play, probably on Saturday and in the midweek. So if I can secure victory in those matches, I believe I will be in contention to fulfill my promise of being in the last 8.
Fatco United, who picked up her first draw of the season, the objectives remains the same.
Football, you must not win every day. There are days that you lose, there are days that you have to draw. I think it's the reality of life, the reality of football. You have to play scenario. Either you win, you lose, or you have to draw. So we have to draw today. It's not a bad one. I have to keep a clean sheet. This is the first match that we have not scored. I think the opponent has worked so hard. It was a very good game. We could have lost the game, and they attacked us so much. I think I appreciate my guys for playing a very good match. No, it's always when there is a record, there will always be a breaker. will always be a breaker. And I think we have come to play each game. We have prepared in training, the way we have been training. And today was a difficult day. It happens in life. I think we have learned from what we saw today, and we are going to work harder to come back on Sunday to make sure that we correct the errors that we made today and continue our winning. The objective is the same. We are there to play good football, entertain the population, win our games, and see what the future is there for us.
Match day 8 continues this weekend, putting Kamjo against Boya United, while Fako United will clash against Talented Football Club.
Today marks the 140th edition of the International Labour Day. The celebration carried out in Limbe was colorful. Plus, at least 20 people have feared death after a boat capsized in the Goose River in eastern Uganda. And Match Day 7 of the Southwest Regional League saw Boya United FC breaks Fako United 6 straight wins. Dear viewers of Royal TV, it is on this note that we conclude our news for today. The news was produced by Natalie Juma, technically assisted by Mr. Neris, and for presentation, I am Sharon Tita. Next week, you will be seeing Frida Lena Voma for presentation. Happy Labor Day.